Good. Okay, welcome to our session on creating more inclusive workplaces with Microsoft 365 accessibility. My name is Hector Minto. I'm the Senior Technical Evangelist for Europe. And my role essentially takes me to meet customers, work with our teams, our modern workplace teams, our customer success managers, to really promote the importance of accessibility within the modern workplace.
And my name is Malvika Rivari. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager for Microsoft 365 with a focus on AI and accessibility. I'm really excited you're here with us this morning. In 45 minutes, we're going to give you a walkthrough of all the built-in accessibility and AI capabilities in Windows 10, in Office 365, and then really show you the impact these are already having in the real world. In the spirit of showing you kind of why this is important, I want to roll a short video.
Text, over 1 billion people have a disability. At a meeting, a woman signing.
People say to me, well, I don't have anyone with a disability on my team. And I laugh because 70+% of disability is invisible.
A presentation, autism, large type on a screen.
All of us at some stage in our lives will have an access need.
How do we connect, transform, enable, empower a person using a wheelchair?
We want to make everyone able to work together and have full access to information. I don't want people to be
A
isolated.
woman uses a white cane.
If you don't have accessibility, you don't have employment. It's that simple.
Accessibility is opportunity.
If you don't know how accessible you are, you're not.
That's like saying to every fifth person, I don't really want your business. I'm not sure why anyone would want to turn away business like that.
Accessibility is empowerment.
There are barriers to communication everywhere.
People sign.
But I think it's time we look at the barriers as opportunities, and then they will be broken down.
Using smartphones.
The perfect future for me is when we don't even think about accessibility anymore because it's so easy, it becomes second nature.
On a screen, accessibility violations
Doing
found.
things from the get-go not only is reasonably affordable, but actually makes the product better for everyone.
Typing with closed fists.
Figure out how you are going to prioritize this going forward, because I promise you, the impact will and is being felt.
Empower every person, reimagining accessibility. Watch on demand May 17th, 2018, Global Accessibility Awareness Day, aka.ms/reimagining accessibility. Microsoft.
So it's really worth starting with thinking about the scale of the challenge that we have ahead of us. If we think about our own experiences of disability, we all know somebody who has a disability, or over 50% of us have a close family relation with a disability. 1 in 4 adults in the US report having a disability. 1 in 3 households in the US have a member with a disability, and over 7 in 10 classrooms in the US have special education students. I mean, and that's just the ones that we clearly know about. Now, when we think about the design challenge around inclusion, it's also worth recognizing that over 70% of disabilities are invisible. And what that means in today's connected world is that you're sharing documents with customers, you're sharing documents with colleagues, and without knowing it, you will be sharing with people who have accessibility requirements. So this is not something that we can ignore. You have to recognize that that document is going to live for a long time, it's going to go somewhere, and at some point there will be a requirement for it to be consumed by somebody with a disability. When we say disability, it's also worth just moving away from the pure wheelchair stereotype. Disabilities in the modern workplace are diverse, from visual disabilities, hearing disabilities, cognitive, which would include things like dyslexia, people with speech impairments or speech disabilities. Mobility is not just people in wheelchairs, but we might be looking at things like arthritis or RSI. And then there are obviously increasingly neural disabilities, which might be due to things like depression, anxiety, and mental health issues. I think all of us would admit in the room that we know people who have a disability now, if we think across that wide, diverse group. Now, when we take on our design challenge around the tools across the Microsoft 365 ecosystem, we also talk about it with our teams like this. Disability is not a personal health condition. When I grew up around disability, we would always talk about the person with a health condition. So we'd say the person with cerebral palsy or the person who is blind. It's not very helpful, and that's why we moved to the World Health Organization helped us move to the social model of disability, which is that disability is a mismatch between you and what you're trying to achieve. A mismatch between you and the building, and increasingly, you and your digital experience. If we have barriers that are there, then we're excluding people routinely. So that design challenge is really removing those mismatches in interaction. We also have to think that disability nowadays is permanent, and so we think about people who have a permanent disability, but also people who have temporary disabilities and situational disabilities. Now, as I move around the world talking to teams about this, I'll talk about people who have a limb missing, as we see here on the left, but people don't necessarily think that's the same as somebody who has a wrist injury or an arm injury. As far as their mismatch between themselves and what they're trying to achieve, it's the same disability. And then also we think about the situational disabilities. So on the picture on the right here, somebody who's carrying their child fundamentally has that same disability. Now, when we design around permanent disability and focus right in on that, it really helps us with the much larger numbers. So we've commissioned some research at Microsoft to really demonstrate that investing in accessibility brings business benefits. We know that when we really embrace this accessibility, we have the ability to build a more diverse workforce. It also allows us to, when we think about hidden disability, to increase the overall productivity and efficiency of our workforce. And when we think of our outward-facing piece there, if we're really focused on accessibility, it allows us to deliver better customer experiences when we recognize the widespread disability in the world today. So, there's also something really important that's coming along. By 2025, 75% of your workforce are going to be millennials. And what we know about millennials is that they want to change the world. They want social good. They want your businesses to deliver to a much wider group of people and deliver that social good. So we've got some stats here for you. 80% of millennials believe companies have the obligation to help people and improve social issues. And 85% of millennials will seek out products that really tackle those social issues. So this is a great space for us to be investing in right now. So what is the challenge? What can we do? What can we take on? What is that social challenge that we can take on? Well, 1 billion people need assistive products, need accessibility built in, but only 1 in 10 have that access, so we can really tackle that. Only 55% of the Disability Equality Index businesses in the US have a company-wide commitment to digital accessibility. That's something you can take back to your organizations. We have the employment rate across the world is double for people with disabilities. So people are unemployed because the workplace is routinely inaccessible. And also it's reported that people with disabilities report lower incomes. So we need the quality jobs opened up by digital technology to really deliver those great quality jobs. So we're going to go into, sorry, I missed a slide. The other thing is the governments are catching up. Governments across the world are really sort of seeing this as a priority, especially when we think about the aging workforce and aging society. So in 2016, there's a new EU procurement directive, which essentially says that people have to put accessibility as one of the items within their procurement documents. They have to consider accessibility at the tender stage. The new US Section 508 ruling has widened out from just being across to the technology, but also made sure that people are delivering accessible communications. And in the UK government has really focused on accessibility in the last year, a year or so. We have 10,000 companies signed up to their Disability Confidence Scheme, where you're saying, we are a committed business to Disability Confident, and they're saying that they have to implement assistive technology. They have to train their staff on this, and they have to start implementing assistive technology. So governments are catching up.
So I think the gist of what Hector is saying is you're in the right room. It's definitely an important topic, and by paying attention, you're going to get business benefits, you're going to meet compliance requirements, and you're going to attract millennials like myself. So kudos for being here this morning. At Microsoft, we recognize this opportunity, we recognize this responsibility. It's absolutely in line with our mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more. To us, this absolutely means every person empowered in every context. It includes the 1 billion people with disabilities on the planet. It includes those with temporary impairments, those with situational impairments. So really the entire workforce, people at home who work with devices, they should be empowered to create, communicate, collaborate. What's helped us at Microsoft is really embracing inclusive design. We have an inclusive design toolkit, and I've laid out stickers for you to kind of get that URL. The principles are recognize exclusion, solve for one, extend to many, and learn for diversity. So as we show you some solutions, you'll see a lot of these principles in action. This idea that as designers, we have the opportunity to pause and think who might be excluded from our designs. If we actually study their needs and we solve for them, recognizing that more people will benefit than just that population, and recognizing that humans have a lot of ingenuity and creativity and they're coming up with solutions themselves. So observing our employees, observing our customers, we're going to find some of these solutions already. We really did embrace inclusive design, and over past 3 years since I've been with this team, I'm going to show you all of the innovation that's come steadily month after month in Office 365 Pro Plus and in Windows 10. The goals were twofold: ensuring people with disabilities can create, communicate, and collaborate from any device, and then ensuring all of us who work in teams every day that are diverse can communicate inclusively, can create accessible content. So organizations that have already adopted Office 365 and Windows 10 are already seeing the benefits of this. They're able to be more productive, they're able to be more inclusive, and they're able to create a compliant workplace. M365 is enabling them to unlock creativity, ensure collaboration. It's integrated for simplicity. Assistive technologies are built in. You don't have to buy anything extra if you don't want to. And it's designed to be compliant. So we're going to show you each of these in action, starting with how we're unlocking creativity.
Great, thank you. So we're going to switch displays, and we're going to show you a few of the settings that we've got. Now, we're going to start with the Ease of Access Center. And I've been working in assistive technology for 20 years, and people have known about the Ease of Access Center within Windows, but we really have to encourage them to revisit it and see the most recent investments. So let's flick displays, and we up. Bring up Windows I into the Ease of Access Center. Now, the way that this has been arranged now is that we have all of the different settings arranged by disability type. So you'll see here we have vision, hearing, and interaction. And each of the features is ranked in order of popularity, or the numbers of people that it would help. So if you're wanting to do some training in-house on the Ease of Access Center and these accessibility adjustments to your system, go in that order. And if we look at it, we can do simple things like increase the text size across the whole Windows ecosystem. We can also look at things like our magnifier. So Windows Plus, a lot of people get fixated on Control Plus in terms of magnifying web, but actually Windows Plus will give you magnification across your entire OS and really help people with low vision. Windows Escape will take you back to a reset. I have to say, I use that almost daily in my own presentations just to bring people's focus to these two things on a slide. So these aren't all necessarily disability settings. These are actually just ease of use settings and things that you can actually use yourselves to improve your presentations. If we look down here as well, we've introduced color filters. Now, if I go to this here, and let's just bring this back across. Sorry. Where's my thing gone? Sorry. There we go. Control Windows C gives me color filters. So people who are colorblind can adjust the color settings across their whole device to allow them to see. How many reports are we seeing where people who are colorblind will be missing out on some of the information? And the statistics on number of people who are colorblind is huge. Across your organizations, 1 in 12 men have color blindness. 1 in 200 women have color blindness. So this is also a great way in terms of your adoption of these settings to raise the profile of accessibility across your organization for going for an audience who wouldn't consider themselves to have a disability or an accessibility requirement, but would become more productive if they unlocked things like this. As we move down, we have things like mono audio for the same reason. Mono audio allows you to funnel all the sound through one speaker, which means that somebody who's got hearing loss in one side or has a dominant ear or a better ear can just routinely log into Skype calls or watch video and have and not miss out on any of the information, get all of the audio. We also have speech and dictation across the whole of Windows now as well. Okay, That's just the ease of access center and is where people with an accessibility requirement may find themselves. But what we're also doing is embedding accessibility across the whole M365 suite. And so I'm going to turn now to learning tools. Now, learning tools came from a hack, like this hack, which really focused on the abilities of people to read and write and consume text. How many of you knew that every website in the world can now be read aloud through the Edge browser? That's 1, 2, 3. Well, this is good. Okay, we actually have 13 million monthly active users of that feature. So a growing audience of people are deciding to have text read to them. And if they choose that option, it will read with highlighting, which also helps people who have new language, or in the UK, we have English as an additional language is a big requirement in the workplace. So people are listening to text on websites. Also built into Edge, though, we have the read aloud, the reader mode. And in the reader mode, obviously, this is something you'll be familiar with from your phones. You will take the text and simplify it into a view that helps you read, that's optimized for reading. But we've gone further, and we have embedded the learning tools into Edge. So now somebody with dyslexia can change for a color font that really suits them to consume this. We also have the ability to set our reading preferences and put a line focus on. So people, again, who need to focus on single lines when they're reading text can have this read aloud to them with highlighting.
Winning hackathon project is now news.microsoft.com. 9 minutes read. For years, Merlene Graves spent several hours every weekend reading text aloud.
Okay, so these are essentially settings where somebody can just optimize their experience for the way that they prefer to read. We can also split words, put the spacing in between words. We can go further and split the syllables between the words. So we'll take the text in any website and split your words into the syllables, increase the spacing. These are just preferences. So we can spend a lot of time looking at the workforce and saying, well, how many people have dyslexia? It's much easier for us when we do this to just focus on people's preference. What that also allows us to do when we're adopting Microsoft 365 is not just go straight to our disability communities, if you even have them in your workplaces, but actually just engage your entire workforce and say, hey, do you prefer this? And that really ups the knowledge of many of these settings. Now, we're also seeing the same settings appear across the piece. So if I go back into Word now, you'll see here in view mode, we also have the immersive reader built into Word. Now in Word, you can go even further. You can, again, adapt your text to a preference, the color settings, the fonts, increase the spacing, as we've said. But you can also highlight the nouns, verbs, adjectives, adverbs, which is great for learning. And we even have a picture dictionary built in. So we can click on the word forest here, and you'll see not only can we have a single word read aloud for somebody who's learning to read this, but it will give a picture representation of that word. How many of you knew about this? A couple. Very good. Okay. Now, when we talk about learning tools, they're really fully embedded in OneNote, in the Word experience. We're starting to see these features just as single options that appear across different programs where it's most appropriate. So rather than think about it as the immersive reader or learning tools, just start to think to yourselves, now stuff can be read aloud. Stuff can be split into syllables. These are just features that are going to increasingly appear across the piece. Now, if I go into Word installed, we're going to look at Editor. So we all grew up with spell checkers, and now we're getting increasing amounts of autocorrect. But what about people who require a bit of extra help to decide whether the word is the correct word, and to help them with their spelling? So we've got an example here. Contagious is what I have here. But if I right-click on it, you don't just get the options for the spell check. You'll also notice that you have the synonyms next to it. But for somebody who needed a bit of extra help there, they would be able to read aloud.
Contiguous, similar to, adjoining, neighboring, touching.
And many of these settings are doing things that specialist software installed on a single device would do. What we're really hoping with this is that people start to see these settings at home, start to rely on knowing that this software is just built in, and these features are just built in across the piece. We can go further. If we go to check this document, you'll also notice that we're checking a document for grammar, clarity, and conciseness. We can also check documents for inclusive language race bias, gender bias. Now, these are all settings that AI is enabling within our documents. It's really up to us whether we turn them on and whether we want to offer that kind of gentle training to our workforce on their grammar, on race bias, on gender bias. It's actually a really fascinating discussion that I have a lot of businesses in Europe. We also have within Office now the ability to dictate. So I can click in here, click dictate. And now I can type into my device just by speaking, and you'll see that I'm not changing the way that I speak. I'm just speaking very normally, and this is dictating directly into my document without any pause, changing the way I speak. Hopefully it's working behind me as we speak. This is working really well. Yeah? This is the benefit that the cloud delivers. The way that the dictation works across Microsoft products now is that it's not just looking at the words that it hears, but it's looking at the context of the word that it hears and making the changes to correct as it goes along. This device is not trained to my voice. You know, this will work with any of your voices here today. So there's not any extensive training. And again, people with things like RSI or just who have mobility issues in the workplace can just really readily get stuff down. This would also work if we look across Windows. So on devices, we can press Windows H. And this also opens up the across Windows 10 dictation, which means that we can type into any app using just our voice. OK. Let me pop into PowerPoint and show you some of the other features that we're unlocking. Now, again, we're going to look at some settings here that aren't disability settings. They are just settings that have been influenced by us recognizing the diverse workforce that we need to support now. So here we have a fairly vanilla slide here, the sorts of things that many of us would quite happily create. But did you know that somebody can press their Alt key and then just keyboard shortcut to the settings? Well, that's been around for some time. If I want to insert a picture, N and P here, I can then click here and insert 3 pictures into this deck, and the magic happens. Now, using artificial intelligence on the right-hand side here, we have the sort of slide that somebody with a physical disability or a blind colleague would really struggle to create. We now are using AI to allow people to create great documents that really reflect their knowledge and their abilities. So you'll see here we've got some great design ideas. When it takes these pictures into PowerPoint, it's also looking at the content of the pictures to make sure that the pictures are optimized for how they look. So it will look at things like faces and make sure that faces are not obscured. It's really kind of going further. It's using intelligence to give you great looking content. All of this is controllable through keyboard shortcuts. So people can really navigate themselves really quickly around there. Let's look a bit further. Again, when we're trying to convey meaning to a diverse workforce, are we trying to do everything through text? You know, delivering all of our information through text. When actually, if we wanted to convey the real meaning of this slide, we can click the design idea there, and it's automatically reading our content on our slides and looking for icons that will help convey meaning. It's also worth noting that these icons have descriptions behind them for people who are blind. So we're really, even if you didn't know you were creating great accessible content, increasingly you are. If we look to one that contains times or dates, we get the option to create slides that really convey that meaning again. This is all to do with us really helping people understand the content of a slide using AI to help deliver that visual. How many of you would confidently know how to create these types of slides? This helps everybody, but this has come from our colleagues on our product teams feeding in, increasingly laser focused on our colleagues with disabilities to think about how would they create and deliver equitable content. So I'm going to pass back over to Malvika.
Who discovered a new feature that they know a colleague or a family member that can use? Okay, couple of people. Who discovered a new feature that they themselves can use? Almost everyone. That's the beauty of inclusive design. Do you know where the clicker is?
Yeah.
Oh. What gets me really excited is the stories I hear of people who've discovered these technologies and adopted them. One such story comes from Jack. He works as a teacher in a school for the blind, and he's teaching students who often are professionals who are already in the working world, but as they lose their vision, they have to learn how to work with a screen reader and a keyboard. And I love this quote from him. He said he can now open up Word, Excel, or PowerPoint and create content that looks just as professional, just as polished as anyone else. The person he sends the content to wouldn't even know he's blind, and that's just how it should be. Your content should be speaking for itself, making a great first impression, and technology is helping Jack and his students do that. Another great story comes from Mitra, who's Andrew's mom. She said coming out of second grade, Andrew could not read. Homework time was a nightmare. And then through sheer luck, in fact, her baker in Whole Foods told her that, hey, I saw this ad on TV. It talked about a solution for someone with dyslexia. Maybe your son wants to try it out. So she goes to the Microsoft store and they try it out and it works for her son. He read for the first time right there in the Microsoft store. And since then, he's been going around with his PC and reading books. So the written word's no longer an enemy to him. She's saying he's conquered his fear. He's realized that he can access something that's been inaccessible to him. She saw him read and she knew there was an answer. So I guarantee you some of these solutions you're hearing about today will transform someone's life. So please do kind of pay attention to what you're learning and share that knowledge. It's not enough to just give assistive technologies to people who need them. All of us work in teams, and teams require equal access to content. So as you think about that next presentation, think about that next meeting, think about how you're going to make that meeting more accessible, make that presentation more inclusive. I'm going to show you a few demos now that show you technologies that can help with that. So let's toggle over to my demo device. So the first technology I want to talk to you about is the accessibility checker. It's been around in Office since 2010. How many of you knew about the accessibility checker? Couple of hands. So the reason not many knew, because it was buried in file, check for access. It was really hidden away. And one of the things we paid a lot of attention to is discoverability. So we moved it right next to spell check, and that increased usage 5 times. But we're not going to stop there. In the future, you're going to see accessibility check run automatically in the background, proactively. And as you make a mistake, a recommendation will pop up at the below saying, recommendations available. Or as you insert a picture, all text will pop up automatically. But for now, let's run it proactively, see what it does. It scans my document, tells me of opportunities to make my content more inclusive, so I don't create problems for people who are using assistive technologies. This picture can speak 1,000 words to me, but not to someone who's blind unless I label it with alternative text. So what this checker can do for me is give me that recommended action of adding a description. I can even use AI to generate the description for me, and this increasingly happens automatically as you insert an image in Word and PowerPoint with Office 365 Pro Plus. It's so awesome that we've been able to label 650 million images within a year of releasing this. And we know AI will not get it right all the time, so we'll tell you, hey, this image, we're doing it with medium confidence. We won't do it if we have low confidence. And then you can all edit it if you want. Like if this is a close-up of the lush green Amazon forest, for example, I can absolutely type that. I can even mark the image as decorative if it's just there for beauty, it doesn't convey any meaning. So that's a new control that we've introduced, mark as decorative. The other thing AI and computer vision can do a little bit better than us is detect that this is actually the non-compliant blue. Those of you who have a web dev background probably know that there's this thing called Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, and there are standards that say for this font size, the sufficient color contrast between foreground and background should be 4.5:1. How many of you can see that with your naked eye? Not too many. So the accessibility checker is able to catch that and say, recommend you change that font color. And if I use the built-in styles, the built-in colors, the error goes away. So simple things like that, we're innovating in accessibility checker, introducing recommended actions, introducing the ability to detect hard-to-read text. So as you author that content, every time you spell check, remind people to accessibility check, and they'll discover these issues, create more inclusive documents. So I think everyone in this room is now kind of getting the value of accessibility checker. How do we make sure everyone who knows you gets the value of accessibility checker too? So a simple thing you can do, in Outlook web app, we've introduced this setting. You can turn on a mail tip. It says, hey, I prefer accessible content. If you email me, please check for access issues. And by clicking that, the person emailing you will be able to run the accessibility checker, discover there's this thing called alternative text, and then start kind of typing in alt text. So simple things you can do to create that culture of inclusion. So encourage everyone who's here to actually go to settings with Outlook web access, go to mail, general, and actually turn on these accessibility settings. They're saying, I prefer accessible content. They're not saying I have a disability. And that nuance is critical. The reason I prefer accessible content is because I forward my emails that I receive to hundreds of people, and I know 1 in 5 people has a disability. So I'm pretty much sure someone who's going to receive that forward is going to need accessible content. So I want to create that culture of inclusion. So those are 2 quick things you can do. In PowerPoint as well, you can go a step further. So once you've kind of created that beautiful slide and you're getting ready to present it, you can make sure you're presenting inclusively. And how you can do that? With a free add-in for PowerPoint, downloadable from aka.ms/prtr. Presentation Translator will add subtitles in real time, both to make your presentation more inclusive for those who are deaf, hard of hearing, as well as for those who don't speak the language. So in real time, the subtitles can appear in the same language, or we can translate on the fly to 60 other languages. Each of you in the room can choose to see these subtitles in your own language. What I've done ahead of time is train the model based on the content of the slides. So I ran this custom speech recognition before this meeting. And now when I start, I'm going to see real-time subtitles for everything I'm saying. It's going to be more accurate if I plug in a mic and the sound goes directly to the machine. How awesome is that? Can anyone think of a use case for this? So next time you present at a conference, that's a way to get real-time subtitles. You can even go a step further by going to translate.it and joining this conversation, and then seeing how the audience will see this experience. So as an audience member, I can type translate.it, and I can do this from my phone as well, using the Microsoft Translator app, and then this unique code that's created for each conversation. And then I can join that conversation. So I'll pick, for example, Hindi, because that's my native language and I can understand it. And then when I enter, hi, how are you? Everything I'll say in English here. As an audience member, I'll be able to see in Hindi. For example, Namaste, kya hal chal hai? Does anyone speak Hindi? I can vouch for the accuracy of that one. It's pretty spot on. And you can try it in your own language too. So a great way to make your content more inclusive for people who are deaf, hard of hearing, people who don't speak your native language. What gets me really excited about these again is that people are adopting them in the real world. So Veronica's a student in university and she has low vision. And a lot of her professors didn't know about accessibility checker. She took it upon herself to advocate for accessible content, and she's been teaching them how to use it. So she's saying it only takes a minute. Why wouldn't you use it? And then once she gets accessible content, she's able to use screen reading, magnifying, and really kind of consume that content independently. A school back in state of Washington, Chinook Middle School, the principal held a parent-teacher meeting. And what's incredible about the state of Washington is how diverse it is. So a lot of the parents didn't speak English natively. He was able to kind of caption everything that was going on in real time and translate on the fly. And the benefit of that was parents who are aging and losing hearing with aging were also able to participate in the meeting and follow that parent-teacher meeting. So all of this that we're showing you is available with Office 365 Windows 10. We continue to improve every month, and I'm going to show you a roadmap of what we've been up to. But the bottom line is the assistive technologies are there. People don't have to raise their hand and ask for accommodations if they don't want to disclose they have a disability, or if they don't even know they have a disability. Furthermore, we offer support from Microsoft. So if someone with a disability does have a question, or if you as IT have questions for us about the conformance of our products, we have the Enterprise Disability Answer Desk, which you can email, edad@microsoft.com. TD Bank, who's been with us on site this week and speaking at some of our other session, Bert shared that by providing tools where people can self-accommodate, it doesn't force them to put up their hand. It allows them to find ways to make their computing experience much more accessible, productive, comfortable. I really like that quote because they're doing a massive rollout to 85,000 people, and he knows that not everyone is going to come to his assistive technology lab and ask him questions and ask for help. He ran a study on his Windows 7 PCs at the time to see how many people were using magnifier on-screen keyboards, and it was much larger than the number of people who had revealed they have a disability. TD Bank has among the highest disclosure rates. 6% of their workforce reveals they have a disability. And even then, the number of people who use assistive technologies are higher. So he went that step further and put a tips and tricks document on Windows 7 to tell people about assistive technologies and get that flywheel spinning so more people can discover them. Our solutions are compliant. I know a lot of people pay attention to procurement, and you are required in some situations to procure accessible solutions, whether you're trying to align with Section 508 in the US, or in Europe with EN 301549, or more generally with WCAG 2.0 AA. We pay attention to the same standards when we design. We don't just build for accessibility, we actually test that we're providing accessible solutions. So we've adopted this trusted tester methodology. We have about 500 external trusted testers testing our code and then verifying what we're saying in our conformance statements. And we're transparently publishing how we meet the requirements for these 3 standards on our websites. So what this experience enables you to do within procurement is have that confidence that you're buying an accessible solution. And really, I enjoy reading this quote from Accenture, who pays a lot of attention to this. Stephen said that they've seen us kind of embrace inclusive design, they've seen us embrace this trusted tester process, and they're excited that their technology is going to work for their employees. They're almost taking it for granted because we've done a lot of the heavy lifting in design and test in verifying that. So by the numbers, over the past 3 years since I've been with the team, we've done over 100 usability studies, engaged 500 trusted testers, increased the usage of Accessibility Checker 5 times, but we need to do much, much more. Automatic captioned a lot of images, got a lot of people reading more effectively with learning tools, and already got people discovering the assistive technologies in Windows 10 like Magnifier, Dictate. Just to give you a sense of the pace of innovation, every month new features ship to enable access for people with mobility, cognitive, vision, hearing disabilities, and for all of us to create more accessible content. This deck will be downloadable, and those links are clickable. They're to our blogs and search articles, so you can discover about these technologies. A glimpse of what's happening after this conference. Some of the technologies that already came to some of our PC apps will come to our web apps. For example, Dictate, what we showed you in Word, is going to come to Office Online in the coming few months. In the Windows 10 update coming in October, you'll see text suggestions to help people type more effectively. You'll see the line focus mode we showed in Edge coming with that Windows 10 update. You'll even see the editor experience that Hector showed with spell check coming to web apps. And then what's really exciting is that automatic translation live subtitles technology I showed you, which is an add-in for PowerPoint. We're already weaving that into experiences like Microsoft Stream to help you caption videos. We're going to bring it to SharePoint OneDrive to help you caption videos. We'll even bring it to live events, which we announced earlier in the summer. So automatic captioning for live events. And then that accessibility checker, which today you have to click a button to run, we'll have it running in the background. And that recommended actions I showed you, which is in Word for PCs today, will come to Mac. That simplified all-text experience will also come to more applications. And that mail tip that I asked you to turn on in Outlook Web Access in the future will come to Outlook for PCs as well. So we've had a busy week. We're midway through. We're going to dive deeper later today in inclusive design with Clint, who's the head of Microsoft 365 accessibility, and as well as with Jasheen Windows 10. So Clint will be in this room at 12:45 and then Jasheen at 3:15 over in Hyatt. Encourage you to kind of join those, as well as look back. Our Chief Accessibility Officer spoke yesterday, and those sessions are available on demand. If you kind of need to share what you learned today, there's a bunch of resources. The most important one is microsoft.com/accessibility. It's our website, and all of kind of our information is discoverable from there, whether it's features for people with different needs, vision, hearing, mobility, cognition, whether it's by product, Windows and Office. Our blogs, whenever we have major announcement, I've included a couple of links to those, aka.ms/A11Y in O365 and A11Y in Win10. And then we have really detailed support articles with trainings. How can a screen reader and keyboard user get started with various Windows application, Office applications? So I've included links to those as well. I think that gives us a good 4 minutes for questions. We have the Windows and the Office experts in the room. So let's get right to it. Thank you.
Technology challenge, go figure.
There you go.
All right, now it's better. You talked about the captioning of live events. I didn't see anywhere on there about captioning Skype meetings.
So we have a couple of different products. The live events experience is a one-to-many experience, and it can be brought to life through Teams, through Stream, and through Yammer. So we've kind of, when we announced live events, we said we would have both kind of on-demand captioning for after the event recording is available, and then in the future live events. So that experience will light up through Teams.
I was more thinking of actually specifically Skype for a meeting perspective.
We have the same limitation.
We have a number of hearing impaired people that can't join Skype meetings because there's no way for them to know what's going on.
So you will be able to screen share a PowerPoint using the presentation translator. There's still workarounds right now, but
often that's not what's happening in a Skype meeting.
Yeah.
So definitely the future investments are in Teams. So we have live events in Teams coming, and then we have Teams meetings, Teams one-to-one calling. So our investments will be in Teams.
I don't see anybody else standing up real quick. One more quick question. You brought up the magnifier. By the way, love it. I have a quick shortcut that I send out to people whenever they want to use some type of a zooming feature in that. Could you change the default from being 100% magnification to 25% increments?
So this goes back to the user voice piece. This is quite a common request. So yeah, absolutely. You can have +1. Yeah. So we are listening. That's actually a really interesting one. So just to reinforce, the more data we have, or the more requests we have asking for specific requests like that, the user voice forum is definitely the best place to do it.
On the All Company Yammer page to go vote for that one.
Do it. Absolutely.
35,000 requests.
You will be helping me. Right.
Awesome. I did lay out a lot of goodies for you just to make a plug for them. It's a drawstring backpack with the branding of Empower Every Person, a great message to carry around while you're grocery shopping. Also laid out a bunch of stickers you can stick on your laptop, and a phone wallet that you can stick on your phone. So carry that message of Empower Every Person everywhere you go, and please pull in more people into this conversation. I hope next year for the same session, all the seats are filled with your passion. Thank you.